just a little bit about your delivery.
Yes.
Tell us perhaps how important you think it is to get away from notes and the technique you get to sort of memorise or be so fluid.
Yeah, speaking without notes is a hassle. Well, it's obviously more work. And I remember with City Bible Forum, my first year, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back to notes. And then after 1 year of going back to notes, I thought, no, it's clunky. I need to go away from notes, go notes free again. So my second year, I tried no notes, and it's so much smoother. And there's so many reasons for that. It becomes your own language. You never lose the eye contact. And as missionaries are taught, you've got to communicate the way the culture communicates. And apparently, in the non-Christian Anglo culture, no one uses notes unless they're reading a written apology that their lawyer has told them. And so that's the only time you read from notes. So in every other form of communication, they're not using notes. So it looks really weird to a non-Christian, they're using notes. So, okay, not saying you have to. And apparently certain personality types find it easier to go without notes than other personality types. So it might be a personality thing as well as an experience thing. The trick is to just have the images in front of you. So an actor once told me they don't ever learn their lines word for word. They actually learn the image in front of them. And you think, if I ask you, what did you do on the weekend? You'd be able to tell me perfectly what you did on the weekend, just because you have the image of what you did on the weekend. You just describe the image back to me. So rather than learn the words, learn the image, just have certain key phrases. So another missionary taught me this. You've got to talk in modules. So module basically, this is your module, has 3 parts. So part 1 is the orientation line where they need to hear who, what, where, and when. That's the orientation line. And then you give the body of what you're talking about. And this can be, you give them the 5-second version, the 5-minute version, the 5-hour version. You just expand it. And then you've got to end with, you've got to know where you're going to land it. So that's all you've got to memorise, what they call the power line, which is the whole point of the module, the line you're going to land it on. So I'm trying to think of an example. All right, so Margaret Heffernan and the hen story. This is Margaret Heffernan, a TED speaker, talk about an experiment that Purdue University did on hens. Who? Margaret Heffernan. What? We're talking about hens. Where? This was from an experiment. When? Well, whenever this TED talk was given. So you just, in one line, have officially done that. And then I tell you the story about the hens. There were 2 groups, blah, 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 blah. But all along, I know I'm going to land on this power line. Work is based on a pecking order. It's a meritocracy. It's a pecking order. So I knew I was going to end. And then here you're allowed 2 things. Okay. So just by doing that, you can get away with notes. Yeah, Mark.
So when you prepare, would you write a full manuscript or you work in that sort of model?
I do write a full manuscript, but only very brief, only in point form. And then I actually group my manuscript into modules. I say, okay, this is going to function as an illustration module. This is going to function as an example module. This is going to function as an explanation module. Or this is going to function as a Bible module. So I know, and I usually have a pretty standard sequence. I'm going to go maybe illustration, example. So I have different modules for each one. So, for example, Margaret Heffernan and the hens, that was the illustration module. And then I riffed onto several example modules. The example is our life. Why did you study hard to get a ranking? Why do we put our kids into sports for the ranking? Why can't we tell our friends what we earn? It's the meritocracy. It's a pecking order. So I went illustration, example, like that.